Okay, so I want to talk a little bit in this video about hiring people to do work for you. Hopefully, at some point, if it is your goal, you grow your business to the point where you no longer can do everything yourself, but you have the means to get help. Help is awesome, but there are lots of considerations to make when you're deciding whether or not you want to bring somebody aboard. So you can bring aboard an intern, you can bring aboard an independent contractor, or you can bring aboard an actual employee. So for interns, most people know that you can't ask an intern to work for free. Really, you shouldn't unless you're providing something of value for that intern, like a class credit. Again, the states are going to have different laws about your interactions with these employees and what minimum wages in your state. All of that's going to be very different depending on where you live. But if you are going to have an intern, you definitely want to make sure that the expectations are set from the very beginning. Are you offering school credit? Figure out if there are things that your company needs to do in order to be eligible for school credit for any particular school. Is there a program that they have in place, or are you going to be paying the intern? If you are going to be paying the intern, and the same goes for independent contractors, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you have some type of contract in place. So if you are paying an intern, more or less, you could probably use an independent contractor type of form, just delineating like the hours and the responsibilities and maybe changing what says independent contractor to intern. Independent contractor. So independent contractor and employees are very similar. In a lot of ways, they're both people that are helping your business and helping you run your business, but they're very different. Think of an independent contractor kind of as like their own business. You're bringing them on to do something that you don't traditionally or always do as an independent or as a business, and you want someone to help you with something for a particular purpose. So to give a little bit of context to that, if I have let's go back to a lamp company, because we've been talking about this fluffy pillow lamp company. If I have a fluffy pillow lamp company and I want to hire an independent contractor to do all of our design work and to create social media posts for us, we're not a social media company. That's not something that we do. We want to outsource that. I'm almost hiring a whole separate business, an independent contractor, to do a service that I don't do. Now with an employee, generally they are, providing services that your company provides regularly. And so if I'm selling lamps and I'm hiring someone to sell lamps, it's going to be a lot harder for me to make the argument that they're independent contractors. Another thing to take into consideration is whether or not you're controlling their schedule and the method in which they're doing work. For an employee, usually they have, set hours and expectations, and you're kind of in control of how the employee is moving. With an independent contractor, you generally have some type of contract, and then in addition to the contract, you are, kind of just letting them go, and you probably aren't going to check up on them until you are ready to get the deliverables or whatever was promised in the contract, which is a very different relationship than you have with an employee when you're interacting with that employee on a daily basis. So why is it important to know the difference? Independent contractors and employees, they have different rights under the law. And again, this is going to be different in every state. And the test for what makes an independent contractor versus an employee is different in every state as well. California actually just adopted a brand new test, the ABC test, for determining whether or not someone is an independent contractor or an employee. And you don't necessarily need to go into the ins and outs of like all of the legal ramifications of that. If you are thinking about hiring lots of people on your staff and trying to figure out who's an independent contractor and who's not, I highly recommend you talk to an attorney and potentially an employment or labor attorney as well. But for most of you, I think if you do a little bit of reading and just kind of read up about like independent versus contractor versus employee in my state, you can get a little bit of an idea. Again, I'm giving you very general ideas about independent contractors versus employees. For the most part, if you are controlling the manner in which they're doing the work and they're doing the type of work that your organization does on a daily basis, they're probably going to be an employee. which means you're probably going to want to figure out how the tax withholding works in your state. If they're independent contractors, you don't generally worry about tax withholding. You pay them the money. They are responsible for figuring out their own taxes. Again, they're basically their own business, and you can find independent contractor contracts online. It can also be helpful to have contracts with your employees. Again, available templates online. And these are great there's so many great legal templates online for free. Again, if you're starting this business and you're trying not to spend any money, that's what I'm here for. I got you. I don't want you to spend any more money than necessary. It can be really, really helpful for you to download those templates and keep in mind, just the type of help that you want to hire. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot easier to have an independent contractor than an employee. So to the extent that you can have independent contractors do work for you when necessary, that's awesome. If you eventually have to hire an employee, there are probably going to be a lot of considerations depending on the state that you live in. There are a lot of things that they are entitled to, especially if you're working in an industry where the employees are unionized. That's also going to be something that you want to consider. But in general, definitely make sure you decide what type of employee you need and what type of employee you are hiring, and that is going to determine how you pay the person that you're hiring and how you interact with one another.